Hey everybody, GReimer here, coming at you once again from the Lost Isle Zoo. Yeah, today's Saturday. You're watching this on Saturday, so I've been having a heck of a time lately getting the episodes out on Friday. It's tough. It's tough for me during the week. Work, family, the whole shebang. Somewhere in there I'm supposed to sleep. It's been rough. It's been very rough. But I'm releasing this on Saturday, and I think, you know what? I put a poll out on the channel asking if you guys would be cool if I just switched ZAWA to Saturday, because it makes it so much easier. Then I got Friday to work on it, and it's just a lot easier. It's just a lot easier for me. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch ZAWA to be a Saturday series from here on out. That way I can get this thing done. And I don't have to feel really bad about missing episodes. I do really feel bad about that. It's like I just couldn't get it done during the week. I'm sorry. So I think from here on out we're gonna switch to ZAWA being a Saturday episode. All right, but let's go over what we did last episode. All right, last episode this was built. Now this is not my doing. I'm not going to take credit for this. I built the cave, and that was about it. This was my son Oliver. He built this. All right, so he was my guest builder last week, or not last week, but last episode. And I think this did pretty good. This is for squirrels, all right? So just eat a chicken and ponder the architecture here. I did change one thing in it, and only one thing, and that's that I made all the water solid source blocks, because I'm probably going to cover that up with like lily pads or something, probably right now, because I don't want the squirrels to drown in there and die, because that would be really, really sad. Let's get in there and drop some lily pads on there. All right, a little bit of a tight fit, a little cramped. I'm going to need more lily pads, actually. Or maybe not. No, maybe I accidentally grabbed the right one. No, I didn't. I need one more. Hold on. I can count. Educated in public school. We're going to have to use just a regular full-size lily pad on this because I don't have any of the smaller ones anymore. I got to go get more of those for sure. But not for today's episode. Yeah, not for today's episode. I'm not going to need no lily pads for that. So, all right. So now I've got to go get the squirrel and put it in here. I did, however, peek in at my base, and I saw this. Squirrels for Oliver. All right, there's 3 squirrels in here. That's pretty awesome. Now, nobody left messages to who did this, who put this here, who gifted me these squirrels. But thanks to my super sneaky admin privileges, it was Maddie. It was Maddie. Maddie did it. Thank you, Maddie, for the squirrels. We're gonna probably add them in there. That means we have 4 squirrels then instead of just 1. So thank you to everybody who down in the comments section put down a name for the squirrels. I got to go pick out 4 of them though. Whereas I was only thinking about picking out 1. And we're going to name these things. Alright, so fun story. Alright, I've only got 2 name tags. Oh no, what am I ever going to do? I've actually completely run out of name tags. But, have no fear, in this mod pack you can actually just craft them with a slab of any kind, string, and paper. Now I happen to have a bunch of pine slabs, so I'm going to go with that. I've got them from somewhere. Cinnamon might be able to tell you where. But we're going to go ahead and make ourselves an entire stack of name tags. That problem is solved. All right, now we're going to use these name tags to start naming these squirrels. Now, I think I could name the net itself with them in it, and it counts it, but I'm not too sure. So we're going to do it this way. All right, so the first one, the first squirrel is going to be named Oliver. Okay, oops, I have fat fingers. Oliver, after my son Oliver, who actually built the exhibit. All right, and that was suggested by Cinnamon, our very favorite spice on the servers. Thank you, Cinnamon, for that. And for the next squirrel, we're going to go with the most requested name, Scrat. All right, that's obviously the prehistoric squirrel from Ice Age. So a big shout out to Nikolai and Cinnamon for both suggesting Scrat. And for the third one, the ultimate name here for a squirrel, Gary. All right, we're gonna name this. We're gonna name him Gary. Big old shout out to Cisco out there for suggesting Gary. Then diving back into the wonderful world of Pokemon, we're gonna name this one Squovet after the Pokemon. And a big shout out to Royal Bear Den out there for suggesting that. And that concludes. That's our 4 squirrel names right there. Bam. All right, coming in for a landing into this cave. Now, this cave is not finished by any means. I'm going to have to come back through and add the walls and stuff for this tunnel right here. But I think we're basically full up in here now. I think we've used up most of the real estate in there. So I don't think I'm going to be adding any more exhibits inside, which means today we're going to have to be heading outside. But first, let's get these squirrels in here. I'm also going to need to be able to get out of here. Whoa, big old leg spike. Need to be able to get out of here. And I'm thinking if I leave it like that, I can probably do the flash thing with the ender pearls, eat my balls on the ground and get out that way. So we'll go ahead and replace that glass right there. And that way the squirrels can't get out. Okay, so it's a little cramped in here, but that's okay because I think squirrels are gonna like that. Actually, Oliver did a really good job at making sure that there's actually lighting hidden in here too, so that that there's not just torches laying around. I asked him to make sure to do that, and he did a very good job at that. So he's got the lanterns lighting up the back area, and he's also got a piece of glowstone back here lighting it up. All like backlighting for the whole area. So cool stuff. Now, where am I going to put these squirrels down? Because it is a little cramped in here. I do not believe the squirrels are going to attack me. We're going to start off, actually, we'll start off with putting down Oliver first. So this one right here is going to, actually, I think the original squirrel that I had was this one right here. So I'll set this one down somewhere. It is really cramped in here. Maybe we'll put it down like right here, and we'll name him. Bam. Oliver is a red squirrel. Little Critters mod too, so look at him. He's adorable. Okay, that's one. Now the next one is going to be Scrat, it looks like. Let's put him down right here. Scrat is also a red squirrel. There you go. Bam. Welcome to the zoo. Then for the next one here, we're gonna put down Gary. Let's put Gary down right here. There we go. Gary is a gray squirrel, it looks like. Sweet. Awesome. And then for the final one, we're gonna put down Squovit. And I wouldn't mind putting this guy like somewhere up front more. Oh my god, I'm trapped back here with all these squirrels. Oh, they're climbing up. You spin me right round. Okay, he's done. Wouldn't mind putting this one somewhere up here. Maybe like right here, maybe. Bam. Alright, and this is going to be Squovit right there. Bam. He's also a gray squirrel. Look at him go. Alright, now, the squirrels have been added. I have to get out of here somehow, so let me grab my balls. And was it right here? I think it was right here. Hopefully, it was right here. Yeah, it was right here. Okay. And let's eat them on the ground. There we go. Face to the wall, like the Flash. And we're out of there. So, like that. Voila! The squirrel exhibit is completed. Good job, Oliver. High five. Good job, buddy. Proud of you. Alright, now, on to the rest of the exhibit. Yes, Baboon. On to the rest of the exhibit. So which exhibit is it, huh? You probably know from the title. I think I'm going to be moving into this area over here. Now, this is the last remaining part of the zoo. This is the last remaining bit of real estate for the zoo. If you look at this whole area right here, I'm going to get bit by a spider, I just know it. If you look at this whole area up here, we start off with these two islands, all right? And there's this big, it's called a volcano, but it was just a big volcanic plateau. It's been since carved into the actual proper volcanoes that you see before us today. But this last little bit of real estate over here with the black sand is the original island terrain. And this is the last bits that we have. It's kind of getting nostalgic. We're inching up on 100 episodes on this series, which is insane. It definitely is bad for analytics when it comes to YouTube, but I don't care. I'm going to build I'm going to build this zoo, and nothing's going to stop me. So, but I do got to fill in this area with a couple of additional exhibits. Now, I am saving the lion exhibit until later because this cat-shaped peninsula is for the large cats. We also have like the snow leopards right here, and then there's the large cats, and really maybe margays. They're not exactly large, but they're cats. We don't really have many other cats in the mod pack. I mean, tigers aren't in this version of ZAWA, unfortunately. It was in ZAWA Rebuilt. So I'm not going to be able to add tigers in this, which is really sad. Makes me want to cry. I also need to finish a lot of landscapes. There's a lot. There's still a lot of work to do. We have done a tremendous amount of work, okay? But there's still quite a bit to do. Landscape has to be completely redone here. We still need the lion exhibit. We still need the rhino exhibit, which is what I'm going to be doing today. Spoiler. I mean, I just flat out told you it's not much of a spoiler. I'm going to be doing the rhino exhibit. But I got to find some real estate for it. It's going to be over here somewhere. I do need to leave room for the lion exhibit, though. I can't just ignore that. Look at them. Look at them. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. They're always watching. So, I'm thinking, okay, I got a crazy idea. Okay, rhino exhibit, right? I got a crazy idea. Right here, this path here cuts this. That goes to the caviary. Remember with the aviary that's a cave? And this goes over the Kakapo exhibit right here. They're in there somewhere. They're always in there somewhere. But then if you don't go towards the caviary, or if you're done looking in the caviary and you want to go this way, it goes past the emu exhibit, and it also branches and goes this way past the untextured gazelle exhibit. So wouldn't it be cool if right in the middle of this there was the rhino exhibit? You know, so that way you'd be going this way and it would be on your left, and if you were to go this way, it would be on your right. Now there is a elevation difference there. This is up to like 2 blocks compared to that, so I'm gonna have to get a little creative. But before I do that, I'm also gonna have to be taking a nap because creepers be creeping and the sun is setting. It's getting very, very creepy. Okay, the sun is rising. The night has passed. I had a wonderful night's rest laying on a twin bed here right next to the emus. But now, as I was talking about, the white rhinoceros, that's what I have. That's what kind of rhinoceroses I have captured. I have 3 of them, actually. All female. I did not actually find any male rhinos. So if anyone on the server has a male rhino and you're looking to breed these up, I've got a couple of females for them. So, but I'm going to add them to this exhibit, obviously. So in the meantime, I got to build them a nice place to live. I don't exactly know which environment white rhinoceroses live in. Like, I'm not a rhino expert. I do know that I enjoy punching them in the butt whenever I see them in the wild, and then they try to kill me. But I don't actually know much about rhinos, okay? I'm a little confused when it comes to them. So I'm going to have to definitely look these guys up. But regardless of whether or not I know everything about them... Ooh, is that one right there? I missed one. That was too high. Got him. It was one right there. There's spiders everywhere. Oh, hold on. Got him. Yeah, a lot of spiders around here. Regardless of whether I'm an expert in what type of rhinoceros it is, it doesn't really matter. They're going to need some space, all right? The lovely ladies that I have here are going to need some space, so I'm going to definitely need to probably bring down this hill a little bit. We're going to go with a pit exhibit like what we've been doing with the rest of the exhibits in the area here. And all of that's going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of terraforming, and one glorious time lapse. Okay, so I got the bulk of the exhibit actually put in here. This is going to be a rather large exhibit. These are, after all, rather large animals. So, yeah, I figured large exhibit for this one. Want to give them a little bit of space. I was going for a little bit of a flat area, but not too flat of one, though. So I left a little bit of elevation change here. keep in mind that the terrain I'm going to be building is on top of this. And that's what I just thought of here, right at the end of that time lapse. And I stopped without actually finishing entirely everything I wanted to do. If I put the terrain on top of this, that means that the land will be like right here. And the rhinos will be like right here. And the path is right there. Okay, that's actually really close. I wouldn't mind actually lowering this down like 1. Which means I'm going to have to tear everything up that I just put down here and lower it down by 1. Just like that. Spared you guys having to sit and watch me do that, but it's now been lowered down by 1 block. So now when the ground is here, we have a 3 block gap here, and the rhinos aren't just like stuffing their horns right up into the feetsies of the guests in the park. Although, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I do like having a little bit of danger in my park. But alright, so we got this whole place dug out. It's done. Now we have to go through and do the landscape. Now, for that, here, we can probably stash a lot of this stone. Shan't be needing it anymore, especially with what I'm going to be doing. I looked up white rhinoceroses. Apparently, there are 2 types, northern and southern white rhinoceroses. It looks like they're very similar terrain for both of them, like slight variations. But I think what I'm going to go with is more of a savanna-esque look here. Okay, so we're talking like acacia trees. We're talking some dried terrain. We're talking some. I can probably throw in. Hold on, actually, I can probably throw in is bad backpack. Some of this, like oak mulch, actually might look really good in it too. Maybe coarse dirt is of course a given. Get it? Coarse a given. I am so sorry. So we're gonna be adding that for sure. But also, how much sand do I have? Okay, there's some. I actually got a fair amount with me. Look at this. I got like 3 stacks. But this is a large exhibit. Oh, here's some more. Here's birch mulch. Ooh, that's pretty good stuff too. I wouldn't mind adding a little bit of this red rock in here as well. It's going to be quite a mix. Now, because of the size of this exhibit, I actually can't hear. I got to be sleeping because creepers be creeping. Oh, not yet. I'm just in the shadow of the volcano. That's why it seems so dark. But I got to give it some thought here because this is a large enough exhibit that I could actually create, like, I'm air quoting right now, but you can't see it in real life, sub-biomes kind of thing into this, all right? Like, I could actually create, like, an area where there's trees around, maybe, like, a little bit of a fountain kind of thing, a little water fountain here. I'm keeping the shield above me to keep the rain off me. Yeah, it's like an area where there's trees gathered around, like a water spring or something. Like, this is a big place. There's a lot of work to do here. But as far as the terrain itself, I'm going to come up with, like, a base pattern for the terrain, and then I'll modify it based on the vegetation that I put in here. So, we're going to start with... I mean, I don't want to say it, but probably grass. We're going to probably start with grass. Hello, Mr. Giraffe. Hello, Mr. Not Scorpion. Tarantula. Man, those things are everywhere. Holy cow. All right, I am just now realizing the scale of this project. This is a big exhibit. Holy cow. All right, so, I got to be sleeping, though, because creepers be creeping again. But I think the next thing that I'm going to be putting in here is the sand. All right, I think sand being added in this is going to be great. I do have an audience. Oh, no, never mind. He's leaving. I think the sand is what I'm going to be putting in here. Now, a couple of things, in case you heard that, I think I have a visitor out here. I have another audience member. Hello, Mr. Wandering Trader. You usually sell absolutely nothing. And you disappear after a while, I believe. Otherwise, I throw a name tag on you. Whoa, you spin me right round, baby, right round. Usually you disappear after a while. Otherwise, I throw a name tag on you and make you my merchant in my shop. Might have to do that with another villager, though. Here, you can have that, though. All right, but I changed something up here, though. I did add a little bit more of a, not as steep a slope right here. I added some blocks underneath here, and so this is more of a gradual slope going down here. But I still want to keep it relatively flat up here, maybe a couple spots with elevation in it, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. It is supposed to be like an African savanna, all right? So it's not supposed to be like a lot of elevation change. It's not really what I'm going for. But I wouldn't mind adding a water feature in here, like a watering hole kind of thing. I think that would be a really cool feature. But first I gotta get the rest of the terrain put down. So, all of this stuff, it took a while to do this. It took a while to put all this grass in here. I think the next step is to add the grass, add the sand though. All right, I got 3 stacks here. I'm probably gonna have to go grab more. But yeah, it's gonna be about 50-50 sand and grass. So, here I go. Oh, that was a lot of sand. Whew. All right, so we got a lot of sand put in now. Now, this is definitely a contrasting block when you think about it because it's got It's got like the darker color of the grass right here, plus the bright color of the sand. Definitely jarring. Sort of looks like a weird checkered pattern. But that's okay, because we're about to make it a little bit better. Let's go inside the bat backpack and grab ourselves some coarse dirt. Now this, I might get away with about 3 stacks of it here and be just fine. Might have to go get some more of this as well. But I'm going to sprinkle this in here, kind of blending together a lot of this stuff. So it's going to be kind of interwoven in here, like a so, like this. Yeah. All throughout this. This is a big exhibit. All right. All of the coarse dirt is put in. Spiders are killed. And yeah, this is it. This is all the coarse dirt. So this is kind of the pattern. Now, this isn't quite done. I think there's one more block that I want to add to this to really give it that savanna-esque feel. And it's going to sort of come across almost like an outback feel in a weird way. And that's the red rock. Red rock or red sand, one of them. Let me grab the... Oh, I already have it here. Can I give this giraffe a... Spider. Nope, didn't quite make it. Hold on, let me try that again. Hey there. There we go. Got it. Let me check in this backpack right here. Okay, I have some red sand. Now, let's just experiment a little bit here. Red rock, red sand. So, if I were to add that or add that... I think the rock is going to look a little bit better. It's a little darker color to it. And I think that looks a little bit better. The sand, the white sand is the real contrast here. That's the block that sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think I'd rather keep it that way too. So I'm going to go with red rock instead. I'm going to sprinkle that in here sporadically. And just like that, it is already starting to look a little bit more like a savanna. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Now, I can also do like path blocks in here. I think will look really good, and I'll add those later for sure. But I think we're about ready to move on to the foliage. Now, if you're wondering, you know, like GReimer, you usually make things a little bit more detailed as far as like depth. And remember, this is supposed to be very flat. It's supposed to be out in the open, kind of really flat. Now, I am going to... Earlier in the episode, I mentioned possibly doing like little microbiomes in here. I'm going to do that to add a little bit of diversity up in this flat area here. So although it is going to be very flat, I will change it up a little bit. Plus, I might add a little bit of depth in certain areas, even if it doesn't make much sense. Don't worry. Have some faith. If you have been watching this far into the series, we're on episode 98, I think. Have faith. I'll get it to look decent-ish. That's the best I can promise. All right, but first we're going to need to mark out some key details. One, I want there to be a watering hole, and I want the watering hole to be back here so that if the rhinos come back here for some water, I want the people from wherever they are walking around to see it. Actually, you know, there's a very good chance, looking at the map here, there's a very good chance that this is going to have a path going completely around it, okay? Because that'll allow you to see any exhibits on the other side as well. So, good chance that it doesn't really matter where the watering hole is. Let's put it right here. Ta-da, behold, the watering hole. All right, no, it's going to be a little bit better than that. All right, let's dig this out just a little bit. And it doesn't have to be a very large area for the watering hole because it's just got to hold a little bit of water. And I'm not going to go any deeper than 1 because I want the rhinos to stay alive, not drowned. But I do have to knock out this black sand here because after I'm done terraforming everything, this is not going to look like a volcanic plains like what it actually is. It will look like a tropical volcanic island instead. So, we're not going to have black sand showing. But I think coarse dirt will still work down here just fine. And then gravel probably, maybe a little bit of mud, that kind of fun jazz. Let me pretty it up a little bit. Something like that. That should work. Now, it is going to be pretty dry all the way up to the end of this, too. So I'm thinking maybe... I've been using peat to kind of imitate mud a little bit here. I think this looks pretty good. I mean, the other block that I've used before in the past actually is the stain... Actually, the stain rebar might look really good. I think I'll keep the peat underwater because you're not going to be able to see it really all that well. But for right here... Let me find my my shovel here. Right here, maybe I'll even throw a couple bits of this along the outside edge of it. And then that should make it look kind of like mud. And there's really not going to be a lot of it because, again, it's going to be really dry. It's supposed to be really dry right along the edge of it. In fact, that might be good enough right there. Maybe we'll take a little bit of extra coarse dirt and sprinkle that in places as well, too, nearby the edge to really kind of make it look like this is kind of terrain that's been jarred a little bit, you know, like it's not like everywhere else. So something kind of like this. Yeah, all right, this will work. Now, another little thing I want to add around here is vegetation, because if there is water here, there's most likely going to be vegetation. So, let me put one more in here, right there. Bam, perfect. There's going to be some vegetation around here. Now, not only that, but to add depth to this, I'm going to actually take a couple bits of cobble here, and I'm going to actually kind of sprinkle this in along the edge here, almost like it's kind of like creating a barrier around the edge of this. And like I said, just a couple bits and pieces of it here or there. It doesn't have to be too fancy, nothing. All right. Now I'm going to integrate some dried shrubs kind of around the edges of this. There's the giraffe coming to take a peek. What you doing over there? Some dried shrubs kind of around the edge of this. So these are kind of like rocks, I guess you'd call them, just kind of hanging out around the water's edge. I'm gonna throw one more right there. Never mind, I don't like it. Ooh, bad stone. All right, so let's open up the bat backpack, and we're gonna grab some of these brown birch leaves here. And I'm going to put a couple of like dead-looking bushes kind of built up around the edge of this here, just like so. Now this is again African savanna. It's not supposed to have like a whole lot of vegetation, so something like that might be just good enough. Maybe like one more over here somewhere in there, another thing spread like right there. Good enough. All right, now this might be a pattern throughout a lot of this, okay? But for right now, I'm just going to focus on the watering hole right here. That's good enough. I wouldn't mind using just regular good old-fashioned acacia. I don't know why I'm looking in there. It's not going to be in there. Acacia trees, like vanilla acacia trees. I think they're going to look actually perfect for what I'm going for here. So I do have to run back to my hidey hole to grab those so I can get those planted. Fly! And then I'll probably sleep too because, you know, creepers are going to be creeping here pretty soon. Boy, I tell you, I really do not have a lot of acacia trees, acacia saplings. I have 3 of them. I mean, 3 trees in that whole exhibit, that's going to be pretty wide open. And plus then I'll be completely out. I'm going to have to grow a couple more of these things just so that I can get more saplings for future builds possibly too. Like, especially when you do the lion exhibit, it's going to be a very similar kind of build. So I definitely want to grow more of these. So I have a little spot right down here. Right here that I think this will work perfect for growing these things. I just need a couple of extra saplings. Okay, cut down a couple of these trees. Most of the leaves are gone. Gathered about 9 saplings, so that should be plenty for this exhibit. And I should have 1 or 2 left over for any future exhibits. Let's get in here now, where the watering hole is going to be, and grab these things here. And I still have the wandering trader out here. He's just still going out there. So we're gonna go ahead and place at least 1 or 2 of these things right near the watering hole. I wouldn't mind it if it actually grew and went that way over the watering hole. I think that'd be a great, cool little feature. Put it right there, and then we'll do another one maybe like right here, and maybe 1 more back here. Okay. Now, if I can get these things to grow exactly where I want them, that'd be great. Or the way I want them, that'd be great. That's not bad. It went towards the watering hole. Okay, that one's pretty good. How about this one? Go. Actually, I guess I don't really care on this one because that one went right where I wanted it to. So, grow anywhere. Nice. Okay, so this is creating a canopy over here. This is where they're going to have to go to cool down. Now, this one. Ooh, I ran out of bone meal. This one is going to hopefully grow over the pond as well. We'll see. We'll see. It didn't really, but you know what? It kind of did. Yeah, you know, that's fine. That's perfect. Perfect. I love it. I love it a lot. All right, now I should have some acacia logs here from when I chopped down those trees, and that's good because I want to actually break these things down and make some acacia planks out of, or slabs out of these things. Why? Because I'm going to add a little jazziness to these things. For one, I'm going to actually move this over just a hair. Let's get this on my hotbar. I'm going to move this over just a hair to right here. Perfect. Awesome. All right. And then I'm going to jazz this up just a little bit, kind of like how I do the palm trees. Yeah, kind of like this. Yeah. Let's just leave it like that. Okay, so I'm going to do a little custom action on these things. This one, this one's probably pretty good. I'll just kind of, like I said, do some custom action on it to make it look a little bit more unique. And I got to add the water to this still. That's on my to-do list. This one needs to get brought over just a wee bit. To like right here. Perfect. Okay, and then again, custom action going on here. Good. All right, now I think, do I have any branches left? Do I have any of them in here? I don't. I think I gave those all to Oliver, and he put those inside of this squirrel exhibit. So I got to make a couple branches real quick. Okay, branches acquired, and I'm thinking about just throwing a couple of them up here on from the trunk to where the leaves are, just very occasionally, you know, very occasionally, just to kind of give it a look like there are some kind of branches kind of coming off from here. Maybe just even like 1 on each one too. Like it doesn't even have to be anything really super fancy. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot. Makes them look a little bit more custom, even though they are still straight up vanilla. Just a little minor tweakings to it. All right, let's grab ourselves. Maybe not a bucket of Nautilus, but let's grab ourselves a bucket here, and we'll load this this area up with water, And I don't really think the rhinos are going to drown in here. Not really too overly concerned with that. Because the rhinos are taller creatures, and this is only 1 block deep of water. So I'm going to fill this whole thing in with water so that they have a nice little watering hole right here. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I like that a lot. Alright, now we haven't gotten to the actual, like, other foliage that's going to be placed in here. You know, like the Johnson's grass mixed with Johnson's grass. But we're going to get around to that in a little bit. I want to finish the rest of the trees and stuff throughout the rest of this exhibit. Now, the rest of this, though, can actually be fairly open with a tree or two here or there. I also murdered some spiders that got in here. That won't be the last. And I do want to put down a couple of trees here or there, and I guess we have the acacia saplings, so we can just plant them right wherever they end up. Like maybe one right there, sure, okay. And then we'll put another one like right here, good. And then maybe one more like down, let's say here. Wouldn't mind another one though, hold on. Like somewhere over here. Hopefully this goes away from the path and like this way. So this will give it, and the feeling at least of it being relatively spread out. Actually, you know what, this might be too many. It is supposed to be pretty vast, okay? Pretty vast and barren. The reason why there's trees over by that is because, move one right here, is because there's water. The rest of this stuff, though, is supposed to be pretty open. So, do I put 2 only? That's a little too symmetrical. Hold on. Let me fidget with these things a little bit and see if I can get a pattern I actually like. Okay. Maybe 3 of them like that. Again, I don't like the symmetry kind of it all, but you know what? We'll just go with it. Let's see what happens. Let's get these things fully grown, and then we'll see how much I gotta tweak them to get them to look... I mean, that'll be fine. To get them to look right. Okay. There, I prettied them up, I jazzed them up. This should be fine. Now, this is actually probably more trees than that needs to be in here, actually. It is supposed to be an African savanna. It's supposed to be pretty wide open. But you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of creative liberty with it. And we're just going to leave it as is. All right, let me sort some inventory here real quick. Just throw some of that in there. Some of those up in there too. Yeah, sure. And actually, I'm going to need these things. I want to keep them. You know, I probably should actually think about maybe keeping those branches out too if I'm going to be mixing them together. So I like how this looks with the bushes mixed in with the cobblestone. Now, cobblestone... I have a weird relationship with cobblestone. All right, the cobblestone, I think, it doesn't make much sense for there to be cobble here. I should replace this with like sandstone slabs or something like that. That would make more sense for the terrain. However, I think cobblestone looks very Minecraft. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, I just like how it looks because it looks like Minecraft. I think it looks really cool, and it looks like it's an accent block you'd use for Minecraft, like olden day style, all right? And so that's why I want to keep using it kind of throughout this. Now, I think around these trees and stuff, we can actually build up a little bit of extra terrain, you know? Maybe like something over here. And they can be pretty spread out, so I'm going to kind of dot in a couple of these cobble slabs in places. Nearby these trees, basically, is what I'm saying. So that's where the shrubs and the bushes are gonna go, and I don't really want to go too much more past it. Actually, I want to like leave it something like this. I also really don't want to go too far with this because the rhinos could hop out. So hold on, maybe I should rethink this. Hold on a second. Let me make this one a little bit more sparse. Like that's fine right there. That's good enough. All right, this one over here, I'll build up a little bit. There we go. That's better. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to add in some of these brown birch leaves, in even some of the freestanding ones like this, just solo on their own, just to kind of add some what looks like dying vegetation, sort of dry, arid environment. These things can get out of here. We don't need those here. That's actually natural terrain. And then, yeah, I'll be right back once I get all these birch leaves put in. All right, there we go. Looking pretty snazzy. I like it a lot. Alright, sweet. Now, I don't know if I need to add any more cobble slabs in here or not. I think this looks pretty good. These little freestanding one-block little shrubs here, I think are looking really nice too. I think now I'm on to the point where I can actually focus on the plants. I got these branches out and ready to kind of mix them in with this. Never did that. I don't actually think I need to. I think it looks fine with them being up in the trees instead. What do you think? What do you think, Giraffe? Oh, he's like, I'm not even going to look at it until you're done. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no, a little sneak peek. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. So... All right, so I can probably retire these branches now and kind of put them away. Don't need them. Let's go give the giraffe over there some more tarantulas. There you go. So yeah, because I don't need those anymore. All right, so now we're moving on to the actual plants in this area, I guess. Let's grab the plant backpack here. So these are kind of a given. I think dead bushes are going to be spread out throughout all this. I'm thinking a prickly pear cactus will probably be a good idea to dot a couple of them in here as well. So Johnson's grass is coming in here. You know what's going to happen. Dune grass, I think, is a good idea as well. And then, of course, like dead grass and desert grass would be a good call in addition to all of that. So let's start off with Johnson's grass because it fits in every exhibit. Probably somewhere a little bit closer back here to near the pond, you know, a little bit. Throw in one back there. Maybe even throw one in like kind of tucked behind the tree right here. And then maybe even like one more like somewhere like right here. Okay. This will be up on this higher elevation, kind of near the oasis. I don't think this stuff, it might actually exist now. You know, we're just going to dot it in throughout this entire exhibit. Haha! Yeah, it just works. It just works with everything. All right, that's pretty good for that. The prickly pear cactus, like I said, is going to go in here as well. But these things can be kind of spread out just a little bit more. They don't need to be too dominant in this area. In fact, I might only throw 2 of them in there. We'll throw one more like right here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. It can be done with those. Now, the areas in between the trees, I'm thinking are going to be an area. Let's actually move this one over a little bit. Are going to be areas where the rhinos are going to be walking the most. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of the path blocks leading up to and around the watering hole. Now, I would normally put things like cattail and stuff like that around the edge of this, along with some reeds and whatever around this to really make it look good. But honestly, I think the rhinos will trample it. Because they're going to be coming over here to the watering hole quite often. So I'm not going to actually add them this time around. I'll just leave it be. So let's do some dune grass, and we can actually sprinkle in some dune grass. Probably, does this go on coarse dirt? No, it doesn't. Probably around where most of the vegetation is going to be too, like around the trees themselves, where the rhinos might come to actually get shade, but they're not going to actually be like stamping their way through this, you know. So I'll dot this dune grass in kind of along around the trees and around the vegetation. Now I'm actually completely out of dune grass, so that's a thing. Let's go ahead and just sprinkle in a buttload of these things in here because this dead grass or these dead bushes are going to be absolutely everywhere in this exhibit. Okay, dead bushes are everywhere in here. All right, that's good. They should be. So I think we're good with those now. Now I got this dead grass and this desert grass. Now the desert grass I'm going to sprinkle in, you know, around the plants as well, periodically, just sporadically thrown in here too, because desert grass implies that maybe it's kind of still alive. Dead grass means it's definitely toast. It's gone. All right, so I'm going to put this in, like I said, nearby the plants and the bushes, just to kind of signify that there is life in this area. Now the dead grass, on the other hand, that's going to be filling in the area all in between here, though, like in between the bushes and in between the trees. So I'm just going to sprinkle this in sporadically as well. All right, looking pretty good, looking pretty snazzy. All right, so what else can we put in here to make this look a little bit more like a savanna? Definitely not toadstools. Prairie grass, maybe, but very sporadically. Like I don't really want to go too nuts with that. Now, one of these types of white rhinos here, they do live in like a grasslands. They can live in like more of a grassland setting. So maybe this will be an homage to that, you know. I'll sprinkle in just a little bit of this. Like I'll be really, really conservative with it, though. I'm not gonna be like trying to flood this area with this, you know. I'll put it off in different areas, maybe around the edge of the exhibit too. Yeah, like there's not gonna be a lot of this. Okay, I think that was a really good feature. I think that actually really makes this whole thing kind of pop a little bit more. It adds a nice, like a darker yellow to it than what the sand is, but it's not quite brown like what the dead bushes are. So I think that added a really cool little color change to this whole exhibit right here. This is starting to look pretty good, though. It's just kind of what I was envisioning. I know I'm patting myself on the back, but I like it, you know. And if you guys like it, be sure to hit that like button. All right, now what do we got to do for the rest of this? I think as far as plant life goes, we're looking pretty good. I think this looks all right. We put these back away. Just kind of sorting inventory right here. I think I'm thinking this is good for blocks now. What about flowers? Is there any kind of flowers that I wouldn't mind adding into this? Again, burning blossoms I think would look cool, but it would also burst the rhinos into flames, I'm pretty sure, so we're not going to do that. Orange daisies, maybe. As far as like a flower out in the savanna, you're probably not going to see many of them. Goldenrod, maybe. Isn't this like a 2-high block one, though? Or a 2-block high one? Yeah, it is. I mean, I can still use it, though. it's not like that's a bad thing. But I gotta be a little bit more choice or selective as to where I'm gonna put this though. So like maybe I'll throw them back here. We'll put a couple bits of goldenrod out here. I don't know if this actually grows in this area, but that's all right. We'll just, and that might be it, just like 2 pieces, you know, not a whole lot. Really sporadic on that. I don't really know if of any flowers that are going to be growing in there. Maybe some of these California poppies. I can just kind of sprinkle these in too. The orange really has a nice little color change to everything too. So again, nothing too heavy with this stuff. Just kind of really sporadically putting this in places. All right, you know, I think that's it. I think that's it for flowers. I really don't see any of these other ones actually being inside of this exhibit anywhere. And I don't really see any lily pads or anything growing on this either. It's supposed to be a dry, open water hole. So maybe some some sludge on the top would work. But before I get to doing that, I need to be taking a nap. Creepers be creeping. Yeah, like some of this red root floater. Maybe I'll just kind of sprinkle this in places just to make it look kind of disgusting. But ultimately, I don't really want to go too nuts with anything else on there. I think that's probably pretty good the way it is right there. Okay. Now, I wouldn't mind adding in some path blocks in here, though, because that yellow color looks really good. And if you ever really want to make your exhibits pop, consider adding some path blocks in places. Okay, path blocks put in. I'm thinking this looks really good. There's one last little detail, though, that I got to do, though, and that is to start growing some grass in here. Now, I really don't feel like having tall grass in here. I think that looks like crap. So we're going to just knock all of that out. I don't even think I'm going to allow it really anywhere in here. And I also am not going to be doing a whole lot of grass in here, actually. It's going to be pretty spread out as well, because this grass implies a very lively area. And now, granted, like I said, one of the white rhinos actually does live in a grasslands area. There's not going to be a whole lot of grass. Even in that picture I saw of the grasslands, there's not a whole lot of grass in that area. It's pretty sparse. So, yeah, I'll go through and I'll add some grass in here periodically and all over the place in here. Okay. All right, there we go. Now, no exhibit is complete without pebbles. All right. Now, some of those heat rocks around here, I mean, I could probably make some more of those things. What does that take? A heat rock. We're looking at heat rock, huh? Heat rock. Yeah, like that. Like if I were to make some of that, those would probably look really good in here. I am going to go through and sprinkle in some good old-fashioned vanilla Minecraft buttons on the ground for the pebble look as well. But I wouldn't mind going and getting a couple of those heat rocks made up so I can actually get those kind of put in here too, because I think that's going to look really good. But to make those heat rocks, I need redstone, and I actually don't have any on me, so it's back to the hidey hole. Alright, I have a full stack of heat rocks made up now. That should definitely come in handy. This whole volcano, though, is looking pretty awesome. Now, when you get up close to it, it looks kind of lumpy and clumpy, but all honesty, from a distance, though, especially from, like, the mini-map, it looks incredible. It's one of those things about big builds is that they don't have to be perfect, and from a distance, they just look at that. It looks a little weird with that little bump there. But you know what? Maybe there's a pressure pocket there. Might be another sideways eruption. Who knows? All right, landing in here. Let's go and put a few of these heat rocks placed all over the place. Like I said, I do think these things look really good. So we're gonna dot these all over the place too. Okay, heat rocks are in place. I don't think I need to put down any more of these things. I think they look pretty good, pretty snazzy. Really nice little touch to it. Now, I think that might be it. I think that's it for the white rhinoceros exhibit. Now, for those of you at home who are still watching, I currently have 3 female white rhinoceroses. All right, and I need names for those. So if you guys could head down into the comment section and give me your best rhinoceros names, that'd be greatly appreciated. Now, I think this exhibit is good. I'm going to obviously need to do a lot of terraforming around the edges here just so that they blend in with the pathways and so that the rhinos don't get out. But that's a future GReimer issue, so screw that guy. Alrighty, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this episode up here. So thank you guys so much for donating your eyeballs and ear holes to this episode of ZAWA. Again, we're going to start doing this on Saturdays from now on, just because I have a better chance of getting it out on time then. So, alright, thank you guys so much for tuning in for all of these episodes, too. Holy cow. Leave a like before you get out of here. Have yourself a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next time. I got to get to sleep before the creepers blow this whole thing up. Bye-bye.